Welcome to the Hockey in the 313 podcast, where we talk all things Red Wings in the world of NHL. Here are your hosts, Brian Donnelly, Keegan Grazioli, Zach Ola, and Dayton Vanderbilt.
All right, guys. With that being said, we have ultimately a wrap, at least from the Red Wings side for now, on free agency. The offseason is going to really start slowing down from here on out. We got a lot to cover here on today's episode of the Hockey in the 313 podcast. It's episode 14 today. We're going to go over the NHL draft. We're going to talk about Carter Bear. We're going to talk about one of the biggest steals / whiffs in the draft. We're then going to bounce to the John Gibson trade and how that gradually makes the Wings a lot better. We're going to give the thoughts on that and the return from it. We're then going to hop to free agency and talk about the 3 free agent signings and does it make the team better, and just go over some of the contracts and the player themselves. And then finally, we're going to wrap it up with the Yzerman Press Conference. So with that being said, let's jump into episode 14 of the Hockey in the 313 podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brian, joined here by Keegan, Zach, Dayton, and Hunter. All right, guys, to kick it off, let's start up with the NHL draft. Me, Keegan, and Hunter were all there. We all saw the reaction to it. It was very satire, so don't take it too into account. But let's start out with our number 13th overall pick. Let's go over Carter Bear. So I think it's reasonable to say we all had him high up on our list for draftees for the Red Wings. You guys want to give me an insight on what your thoughts were? In 56 games, he got 40 goals, 42 assists for 82 points last season in an injury-prone season for him. So, yeah, if anyone wants to begin about talking Carter Bear and your thoughts, please go ahead and talk about him.
With Bear, in my opinion, he wasn't my first option because obviously Victor Eklund is my number 1, but Bear would easily be my number 2. And I still think Bear is a really good player. I've enjoyed watching him over the course of the year, and like I said, kind of in the profile episode we did, he kind of stole my eye a little bit, and he's on a really stacked team on Everett, and he's supposed to stay there because I remember just hearing he wants to stay loyal to his team, and and once again, Everett's one of the best teams in the WHL. You got Landon DuPont as well, a first teammate, and I think this is a good pick. I'm really excited to have him on our team, and I'm just going over player comparisons as well, like that Brendan Gallagher, Seth Jarvis. That's what I really want him to be for us. And just come to think of it, when we have all of our prospects together, Brand Sagnegaard, Nate Danielson, I believe we're gonna form a very nice line that could be tough to play against. And I'm hoping kind of like that, like we talked about, that Florida third line with a mix of a little bit of offense, but also that kind of forward-checking ability and just overall tough to play against and just the scoring. And that's how you kind of win games in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I can pretty much attest to that. I feel like the 40 goals, kind of gets your eye a little bit, especially in the WHL, and him being injured too. So he could easily maybe scored more if he wasn't hurt. But I will say that reaction, definitely a little bit over-exaggerated.
100%.
You have no idea how much shit I've gotten for throwing the jersey. That never touched the ground, by the way.
It did. It touched the chair.
It sat on the chair.
But we were really hoping for Eklund. I feel like everybody was really high on him. Obviously, he started falling. We selected Bear. We're kind of I personally wasn't mad because I really wanted Carter Bear. Mm-hmm. So, but if Eklund dropped in the draft, you had a chance to get him. But I feel like with Eklund falling to where he did, I feel like I'm 100% okay with Carter Bear. I love what he brings to this team, and also just his interview with I think it was Leah Hextall, just showing his emotion and
I loved it.
And that awkward interview that they did with the GMs at the draft, which I thought was kind of weird.
The
that
worst
they
one was
filmed that.
Boston. The worst one was Boston.
Thank you guys for picking me.
Yeah. But overall, I love the pick. I feel like he's going to be a guy maybe in the next couple of years that can really show what he has and, could potentially push for a spot at some point. And like Zach was saying, we got the MBN and we got Carter Bear and we got Danielson. Maybe they could form that third line that could help us out down the line when we're trying to compete in playoffs. So I'm really excited for him. A lot of upside. I love his shot. I love how he's been shooting the puck, and I think he has all the upside up in the world. So I'm really happy with that.
Just kind of quickly with Bear's injury. So what I've heard from the Draper press conference, like they had the medical staff go over it, and it's not as a big deal as I thought. It was just like a clean tear or whatever. So
Oh yeah.
I think it'll be like just 100% healthy. And I also heard once again, he's gonna play at the World Junior Summer Showcase. So I mean, I'll be interested how to see he'll do. But I mean,
For Canada, right?
yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know how to watch that. I think I have to go to like
USA Hockey.
USA.com.
Arena, sorry.
You might have
Yeah.
to pirate it, Zach.
Yeah. Hey,
Oh.
thanks to On Hockey. That's how I've done most of my scouting on.
It was a wonderful 5-hour-long draft.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a horrible part of it too. It just did not. It took
Bears
so
are-
long.
Bears
Dude,
are in the
I-
NHL by the time the draft was over. That's how long it lasted.
I left
McQueen
my
toured
house.
Disneyland.
That was a good
The whole time.
storyline too.
Yeah,
That
McQueen.
Yeah,
McQueen
that-
went to the
that
entire
was funny.
Disneyland part.
The Queen went through Disneyland, and meanwhile, the guy who got drafted by the Buffalo Sabres is actively having PTSD because he's on the Buffalo Sabres.
Poor
Redeem
guy.
the dream, Mr. I'm not gonna say it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Stay
Zach's
I'm
no,
gonna
Zach
stay
say his
professional.
nickname. What's his nickname?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm too scared. I don't want to get canceled.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, the draft. I mean, overall too. Like, I feel like the top 10 was pretty good in my opinion, and then obviously as you kind of fell, you had like some high up, more like guys that kind of rose in the draft. I feel like, I'm forgetting the names a little bit, but I know, I think it might have been O'Brien or someone else, Martin.
Nesbitt
Brady Martin.
went a lot higher than I think
Nesbitt
anyone
went
thought.
higher.
Thank you,
too.
Philly, for taking him.
Yeah, because there's rumors that
Sounds
the Wings were going to take him, and
Yeah.
my God, I would have been
Who?
pissed.
Coots went like 17th or
To,
16th.
15.
Canadians,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
15th.
Canucks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's solid range for him. I was
Really?
surprised
I thought
Potter
it was
went the
low.
first.
Yeah. Yeah,
Dave,
that
do you have
too.
thoughts on the pick?
Calgary is going to be a fun team.
Huh?
Do you have thoughts on the pick?
Oh well, no. I mean, he was just a guy that I wanted. On my list, I made. I had him as one of my top 5 guys, and then, yeah, I don't know. I like his style. I actually watched quite a bit of him leading up to the draft. So,
He had a
Good
pretty
job, Dayton. You're scouting.
dude, I actually did that. I actually did that near the.
He's going to take my job.
Yeah. Sorry, Zach. I'm coming for your spot.
Oh, man.
I'll have you know, I researched 15 players, and then about 5 minutes before the podcast said, I don't want to do this.
Jesus.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I think Zach pretty much nailed it down, everything about Carter Bear. I mean, like Keegan said, that reaction was definitely blown out of proportion. We wanted Eklund, but as I think Dayton mentioned it too, I mean, Hakan Andersson is the best Swedish scout, arguably, in the NHL. And I mean, if he didn't like him, then I'm 100% on board with us taking someone else, especially with our WHL scouting staff. I think Carter Bear is a tremendous pick, and I think he's got a lot of upside to be something for the Red Wings. And I mean, sorry, go Hunter.
Personally, I think he obviously he's the Yzerman type, but he's just got
feel
that
like he
high
is-
compete, like,
Sorry, I feel like he has a little bit more of an offensive upside compared to the guys.
well, yes.
Yeah. Especially
Yeah, I was
scoring.
about. Yeah, he seems more like that Brendan Hagel, like high
I've
compete, high
heard that,
offense,
yeah.
but
It's a good
big pain
comparison.
in the ass to play against.
I like the Gallagher
We'll
comparison
strum
the
up
most.
along the board. I do like the Gallagher comparison, yes.
And it's
But
prime
he's got
Gallagher, not
scoring
Gallagher
upside.
now.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's a great pick. I really do. I have
I really
no
hope.
qualms with the pick whatsoever.
Yeah.
Don't let the draft reaction comply on how we actually feel about the pick, please.
I'm just really
Please.
hoping he's like
I had to make a
a.
comment
Yeah.
to tell people like, hey, definitely an overreaction, but we love the pick.
I'm still getting shit from people. It's so funny.
Oh god.
All right, Zach, this is gonna be a you question because I mean we all saw the picks for 2 for 7, but like in your opinion, who's the biggest steal, and then who's the biggest quote unquote whiff or reach for the Red Wings in this draft?
Honestly, this is probably my favorite Yzerman draft. Going past the first round because there were a lot of guys who were interesting. And I'm going to make a post where I'm going to grade our draft and kind of go a little bit more in depth because there's a couple guys I still want to look into. But anyways, our second round pick, Eddie Yenberg, was good, except there was a couple guys I wanted. He's like very physically matured, he's sorry. I'm just whatever. So I'll probably steal. I really like this Verchek pick in the 4th round. He's a player I've kind of watched towards the end or towards the end of scouting, and he's a really high energy guy. I've kind of seen him a little bit through Brenus. Like he's always going after the puck, very high energy. He's got a good shot, and I want to watch a little bit more of him as well. I felt like he kind of got more trust within his SHL team because I think Yenborg probably averaged around 4-ish minutes a game, while I think Verchek played about like 9 to like 10 minutes a little bit for Brenus, and yeah, Brenus was a good team as well. I think they went pretty far in the SHL playoffs. So I mean, it'll probably take a while for him to develop, and I was so surprised we got him because
You
usually
and
guys
Caden were
I
losing
want
your shit
Yzerman.
in the group chat.
Yeah. I mean, just usually Yzerman doesn't draft the guys I want, and I'm a little bit puzzled or whatever. In the later rounds, yeah.
Zach's and Yzerman
And then,
doubter confirmed.
A little bit when it comes to drafting, but you know. And I mean, for duds, I don't really know. Like, I thought it was interesting we took Brent Solomon that early. I think Dane has a Q&A with them.
Well, he's left me on scene for a couple days now, so.
Oh.
Like when I sent him the questions, I know he had development camp, so we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, everyone start ripping on Solomon.
Like we all rip on Brady Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, one of the
so-
most chillest guy ever.
Yeah.
Brady
nicest
Cleveland
guy.
was one of the coolest dudes ever.
Dude, that Q&A looked awesome, man.
Dude,
it
yeah.
was so fun.
It did
Oh
look
my
cool.
God.
Draper, yeah.
Most
Well, I
nervous I've
mean-
ever been talking to a
Oh.
person.
Yeah, I could just see it. You were just like shaking.
He was a
Shit wasn't
giant
real.
compared to
You
you.
need a milk crate.
Jesus. Dude, I'm not even that short. They were just that tall.
Yeah. Hey, that's why we
God.
drafted him.
Yep.
Sorry, Zach, continue. Got a little sidetracked.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Solomon pick was a little bit weird. I have a couple of his games downloaded that I'm gonna watch once again for my draft grades. I heard he's kind of like a goal scorer, and he was mostly a high school player.
Yeah.
But I think he played a couple of games in the USHL, and then I don't really understand why we're taking another goalie.
It's
that
Yzerman,
early.
dude.
Because
Well-
you can never have enough. We need 8 billion
Yeah.
goalies.
Well, they did talk about that a little bit today. And what was it? Well, I know they were talking about goalies take a long time. So when you have some graduate or I mean, if one doesn't
Maybe some
hit, and you have
fall out.
extra options, I guess, and you can obviously trade some. I mean, they were saying that they actually really liked how he played and everything and stuff like that. Like they
Yeah.
didn't say they took a goalie to take a goalie, but
I mean, I have nothing against Michael Pradell because I think he's pretty decent. I've only viewed him at the Holinka and the U18s where he was getting pummeled with shots because Slovakia was kind of pretty, or they were I guess a weak team,
Yeah.
and I really liked him. It was the first game of the U18s. I think it was Finland versus Slovakia, and I think it ended 1-0.
Oh wow.
Went to a shootout, but I thought Pradal was pretty good. Once again, I think he's like 6'4". He's really good at positioning, but I'm not a goalie expert, but I feel like he can maybe get a little bit faster off rebounds from a few clips I've seen. I also want to watch Crease Analysis's video of him because he went over like all the draft eligible goalies. So
You know who was a goalie guru? This guy right here.
You're coaching, right?
Yeah, goalie coach.
Hell yeah. But I mean,
Unk made it.
yeah. Once again, I mean, I'm interested to watch Tyron and the 7th rounder guy from high school, like Palmer. Is that something?
Oh yeah,
Grayson
some long
Palmer?
name like yeah, something like that.
Bro,
When I download his game, that camera angle just looks abysmal. So you're gonna have to bear with me there. That's high school hockey.
Little pin in this here. Me and Dayton on the tune-in pick, like, could not find any,
Dude,
like...
oh my gosh.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my...
I had
I
to
was
find
getting ready to
one
make the
off of-
post, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I have no pictures.
I had
Yeah.
to find one off of some like when you're looking through the pictures, it'll like link different like pictures of him, and there was this like random I think Facebook account. So I clicked on it and it brought me to someone's Facebook, and I just saved that picture.
So smart. Dayton's
I
taking
mean,
through Facebook now.
That's how it is with Russian prospects. You just look through them; they're kind of anonymous. Like I've had a hard time looking for Piotr or Andrianov picks or whatever. I don't know why the MHL.
I don't know
is
why
kind of
Columbus took that
seclusive.
guy.
Yeah, I'm really puzzled, and apparently Don Waddell had him within his like top 14.
Yeah, but like the dude's not gonna make the. He's gonna be like a Sorokin or Shesterkin kind of goalie, where he's not
Yeah.
coming to North America for like 4 to 5 years.
Man,
And I feel like they could use goaltending now.
Right. That's why
Like, I felt like that
Ravensburg
was
was
more of
right
a
on the
need.
board.
man, he loves going back to his Thrashers days of drafting.
I mean, I'm a huge Andriano fan. I had a little bit of an inkling he would go over Ravensburg in first, but not that high. But I kind of like his athleticism as well. But I mean, yeah, once again, we'll see.
All right, Zach, just quickly here, and just because you're the draft expert, if you can give us a little sneak peek of what your full draft grade for the Red Wings would be.
I'm debating between A minus or a B plus, cause once again, I really like the guys we drafted. I thought there were better ones though. Like I said, I mean, Eric Nilsson went a pick over Yenborg, but I mean, I think Yenborg has a little bit better offense. I'm also a huge Vinsagi guy. Once again, Eklund as well. I also would have liked maybe Hillstrom in the 4th round. That's Verchek's teammate. And I mean, that's all off the top of my head. Those are kind of the guys that I kind of wish we took a chance on. But either way, it was a very good draft for us, I think, and it's something that we can build on for the future.
I could have swore I read somewhere that someone gave us like a C minus for the draft, but then had the audacity to give Pittsburgh like an A.
Oh, I saw that. No, yeah, I sent that to the group chat. That was the stupidest
They're on
post
massive
ever.
drugs.
I mean, I have a personal bias to some of Pittsburgh's picks, but I mainly wasn't a huge fan of the Horkov pick, but still.
Hating on
There's
the
some
Red Wings
guys that
assistant GM.
Oh,
Hating on his son is crazy, Zach.
I thought we were going to draft him in like the 2nd round, but I mean, I guess he kind of rose because, yeah, he went to college pretty early.
All right, so that was the NHL draft. A little bit of a glimpse of it. We didn't go pick for pick, just because time management and stuff like that. But the main thing I think is what people wanted to know is like Zach's thoughts on who like we should look out for in the near future, and then obviously the main guy, Carter Bear. On day 2 of the draft, the Red Wings did make a trade, and it seems like this dude was forever in trade rumors. Like, my God, like I don't think I've ever seen a player in trade rumors this long. But John Gibson finally got dealt, and it was to the Detroit Red Wings. The Red Wings gave up Peter Mrazek, who they just acquired, so his redemption tour with the Red Wings came to a very quick ending. The dude got new pads and a new mask for nothing.
I always feel bad
Damn.
when that happens.
Along with a 2027 second round pick and a 2026 fourth, which then the Red Wings immediately got back a 2026 fourth from the Blue Jackets. But getting back to the whole John Gibson scenario, it just felt like this dude has been involved in trade rumors since, I honestly, ever since he got there.
He's been involved in trade rumors for us for forever too.
Mm.
So it's like this has
Yeah,
been
tell me about it.
on the
especially-
block for a while.
Me and Dayton know the struggles of last year about how that went, so I don't want to revisit that. But thankfully, he did get traded to the Red Wings. And just in my opinion, I mean, he's been on some shit Anaheim Ducks teams. I know that's using it very, very brief, but like he has carried this dead weight of a Ducks team through the start of the 2020s, and it kind of got to him when he was taking a lot of starts. And thankfully, Lucas Dostal came in and took the majority of them because Gibson only played 20 games this year, but he had a .912 save percentage for him, so pretty good. Now, here's the thing with Gibson, though. Like, I mean, I love the trade. I think a lot of Red Wings do. He was the best goalie on the market for trade and free agency. So I think that in itself is a W. And I think what they're going to do is Yzerman finally has his 1A. I feel like between Nedeljkovic, Thomas Greiss, Jonathan Bernier, Ville Husso, Alex Line, Cam Talbot, like it's just a bunch of 1B options hoping to be 1As. I think Gibson is, I don't want to jump the gun a little bit, but a surefire at least 1A. And if, Gibson plays 40-something games and at least gets us some solid, like, steal wins, I think we're happy with that. Because, in my opinion, I trust Cam Talbot as a 1B. I think he's shown cases where he can be a starting goaltender. It's just another one of those cases where you can't run that goalie into the ground that's hot. And that's what the Red Wings have been doing with Lyon, with
Especially
Talbot.
Lion.
Yeah. You can't ride the hot hand sometimes. Now, if it's a stretch that you need to, yeah, of course, but you can't consistently keep throwing that goalie out and just cycle through goalies. So, I mean, again, John Gibson was the best goalie on the market, and I feel like you got him at pretty damn good value. And, I mean, I love the trade personally. I think for virtually a second, because I think Mrazek, he's not going to be anything huge at Anaheim because Dostal is going to be the starter. Ville
They
Husso
signed
might come
Husso
up.
again.
Yeah, they have Husso too, so I mean it's a third goalie situation. So in reality, I'd even call it a second round pick just in return because we got that fourth. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on the John Gibson trade.
I'll talk about this. I love the trade. I kind of agree he's kind of our 1A option, but I feel like with how we've been running our goalie tandems, it's going to be like a 1A, 1B situation. So it's like they'll run the hot hand sometimes. I feel like Gibson's going to be that guy kind of running it. But I feel like, well, if Gibson needs to rest, you can easily bring in Talbot, who's not going to be tired. He's ready to play, not going to be injured. Obviously, he's a lot older. He can win you games too. So you have two goalies that can easily help you win games. Now, my only issue is I'm praying to God that this defense helps them. That hasn't been a strong suit, let's say, in the last couple of years. But I think overall he can elevate a game. He can control a game. Obviously, he's been under Dostal for the last couple of years, so he hasn't played a ton of minutes or a ton of games per se, especially last year. Like, he's limited to, 29 games?
Yes.
Okay. But anyway, I mean, how can you not love this trade? I feel like 2 seconds, that's fine. I'm not worried about the picks at this point. I feel like you need to make something happen. Mrazek, well, it was fun seeing his little tour in Detroit 2.0. It wasn't going to be a long-term option. You never were going to keep him. So he was just kind of a cap dump at that point. And I feel, like I said, you get your number one and you're right on your way to trying to push for at least a wild card.
I mean, the one thing with Gibson, I always thought he was really old, but I think he's like 31. I don't know why, but I've always thought of like he was like 35 right now or something.
Seems
I
like
mean,
he's played like 1,000 games.
yeah.
That's the thing. He's been involved for
He's been
Trader Roost for
around
so
for
long. I think
forever.
he's older.
Was he on the 2017 team? Because I remember it was Anderson as well. But I guess
He
they were
might have been.
through.
He just might have been in San Diego.
Uh,
Because I remember they still had what's his name? Jean Sebastian Giguere. I think they still had him.
2017.
Oh wait, no, they had Jonas Hiller still.
It was like I know that Anderson I think was on that run.
He was a starting goalie.
yeah.
I'm just trying to think of the backup and who it was. It was either Jonas Hiller or Jean Sebastian Giguere. One of those two. I can't remember.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we've been through a lot of goalies as of recently. Obviously, I mean, but I mean, I think it still comes down to defense. I mean, I really liked Alex Lyon in his run, especially in 2023, 2024. But it was clear. Yeah, it was clear that we were overusing him a lot, and I think there was limits to him. And there was also a little bit, I think, limits to Talbot as well. Like I remember, he kind of went through a little bit of a tough stretch, and I know he wanted to put Lyon in, but he was kind of off his game, so then we had to go back to Talbot. You know, and I know Talbot's pretty old as well, but
I mean, we even ran Husso a few times.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
God.
forgot about that. And
I still remember how excited I was when we first traded for Husso. I'm like, oh my
Me
God, we have a
too.
starting caliber goalie.
yeah, he was like off a career year in St. Louis.
Boy, were we wrong.
Well, that was it was a bit of a gamble because I think that was like his first year or like.
Oh yeah, it was just like
NHL or
yeah.
something. And
Man.
you know he was really good backup, and Yzerman was probably thinking maybe you can get something for cheap while he's still a backup, you know. And then,
Man, if I had a nickel for every time that happened to the Red Wings, I'd have 2 nickels. It's oh my God.
Which is
It
weird.
hasn't happened a lot, but it's weird it happened twice. First time was with Nedeljkovic.
He's now in San Jose.
Yeah, what a fall off from him. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
But yeah,
Jersey,
How
too.
San Jose's doing.
they're just filling out their cap space.
Yeah,
Me
Yeah.
too,
Stupid
for
way.
2 years at like what? What was it? Like 8
Six.
million or something?
Mm.
6.8?
6.5.
Yeah, you can keep them. I'm good.
All right, Zach, sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'm once again with the trade overall. I'm glad that the second round pick is pretty late. I mean, hope to God we're in playoff contention, and well, I mean, hopefully we won't have to think about the draft. But anyways, I feel like if this team wants to get over the hump, we kind of need goalies to steal wins at this point. Kind of like what what you said earlier. Like I know it all comes down to our defense. It's been pretty awful. Like I've seen so many blown coverages in front of the net, and also our god awful PK. But I mean, I feel like if we could get that extra save, it can help us save wins, and and like it can help us, win those 1-goal games, those like 1-0 games or whatever. And
I will say
that
this.
would bring.
Sorry, Zach. I will say this. I heard a very good point. Would John Gibson steal us games last year and make the playoffs? Probably not, because it was. Well, maybe it depends on the perspective you look at. It depends on the perspective. But
There were some games where we
McClellan
couldn't
was the
stop a
coach.
beach ball.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure, I would say 2 years ago, Gibson is the missing piece to the Red Wings making the playoffs. No doubt in my mind. I think he would have pushed us over the hump. And the big thing with defense, and we'll get to this in a second, I don't know if this is just me coping, but I feel like Edvinsson can make another step. Cider.
Easily, yeah.
Aljo can take another step in McClellan's system. What is Dayton doing?
it sounds like exactly what I said earlier.
I've been saying this. I'm on the train with you. I know that this team can be better than next year, but
Here, I'll
Even
quote
in-
it. I'll quote it.
You
I'll
copied
quote
his whole flow.
Here we go, guys. Number
Bar
one,
for bar.
the PK will be better next year. It won't be as bad as it did. So let's say that adds 2 or 3 points. I'm just reading
I feel-
word. So say that's 4 to 6 points. And then point two, now you have number one goalie in Gibson and a solid backup. That'll see you a couple of wins as well. So we'll say 2 to 4 wins. You have JVR, who I think is better than Tarasenko, hopefully.
100% would say is better than
Agreed.
Tarasenko.
I feel like that penalty kill last year was just like the biggest anomaly
yeah,
ever
it won't
known
be
to
that
man.
bad
And
again.
It was just
okay,
get
I'll-
ready
I'll
for a
look-
goal once
I'll-
once we get a penalty. Just get ready for
I'll
a
look
goal.
right in. I'll look right into the camera when I say this. I don't think it'll ever be that bad ever again. You can go ahead and clip that if you want.
It shouldn't.
I
It theoretically
agree.
should
Yeah.
not be that bad.
No.
Sorry, Dayton. Continue what you were saying.
No, it's fine. And then this is before we got Appleton, and but we have a much better bottom six now. Because let me tell you, so I know I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but Appleton's kind of replacing Mott, so that's gonna be already more offense right there. And then I think the bottom six is just better in general, so then add more offense, especially 5-on-5. And then like you said, you have another year of Casper, Raymond, Sider, Edmondson, Johansson, those young guys who I think can take another step. And then, I know everybody keeps thinking like we're done for the summer, but if you have any other trades, Yzerman, I read it today. He said like after this holiday weekend, he's going to go back and call every team around the league, asking them where they're at and stuff like that. And he did say that there's some things that are
Let him cook.
Eric
Let him cook.
Carlson, Brian
He
Russ.
did say that there's some
Carter
teams that
Kell.
are wanting to do some moves that they're interested in and might make something work. So we'll see if that leads to anything.
And
He did say he was looking for a top 4 defender.
And a
Also,
winger, yeah.
here's the thing. Here's the thing with that too. This is where
no.
this is where, and I had an argument about this in our Danny DeKaiser group chat with Drew. I don't even want to go into what the hell happened. I'll probably talk to Dayton about that later.
Okay.
You have a BDK group chat?
It's with a kid from EGR Catholic Center. It's a whole story for another day. But in my opinion, I think the biggest argument that I made is I think Yzerman is full he wants to make this team better, and I'm sick of people thinking that he doesn't, because when he's openly saying
He brought that up today.
he's like
Yeah,
openly.
he was. All right.
Sorry, go Dayton.
Well, I mean, it's probably what you're about to say, but like today he said, believe it or not, but I am trying to make the team better.
And that's what I was gonna say, but like, I mean, just you look at the moves he's making right now. Like, he traded for Gibson. He's actively on the market looking for players, and he is quite literally telling us, "Yeah, I will call every team and see where they're at." And like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like he's bound to make a move. When is that? I have no idea. But like, he's not done. He really isn't. We still have $11 million in cap space. Some of that could even be cleared if you move a contract, like a Hall or not Hall, unfortunately, a Cop or a Comfer. But even at that, I still think we keep both of them. I still think you try and add on to that group so you push those guys down the lineup and stop expecting with them more. But he's not done. So we'll get into that press conference in a bit here. But before that, let's jump to free agency. So the Red Wings made a total of, we'll say 5 signings, but 3 that are really like impactful for the team in general. So Dayton covered it earlier. We signed James Van Riemsdyk to a 1-year, $1 million contract. Terrific value, in my opinion. You signed Jacob Bernard Docker, who, me personally, I love Bernard Docker's game.
I think
liked
it's a
him when
sneaky good move.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those where it's a perfect
I mean,
contract, but if he can get on the ice and he can like play pretty damn well, I think this is an absolute steal. He was involved in the Josh Norris Dylan Cousins trade. I don't know why Buffalo didn't qualify off for him. Maybe they didn't have the room. That's probably why.
They had plenty
but
of room.
I think that's a clear like right there. Like, it may not be a big name, but I think he'll be something for the Red Wings.
I think you bump his number. I think you bump his minutes up because he was averaging 14 minutes in like the limited amount of time he had out there. I think you bump him up to 18, 19 on a third line role. I think he could do wonders, solidifying a line with Gustafsson or hint Axel Sandin Pellikka. Maybe.
I wouldn't go with ASP yet. And Jacob Bernard-Docker's a
Oh.
right-handed defenseman, so it'd either be with Sherratt
Oh,
or
well, okay, whatever.
Gustafson.
I did see a little bit of
Chaos line.
JBD's. Yeah, I saw a little bit of JBD's advanced stats, and it looked pretty good. And I was also just gonna say, like, all the Sens fans are glazing him.
Bro,
And then
who was
you
it?
just kind of-
Who was it? The freaking Sens buzz dude was like laughing at the signing. Like, I don't even want to get
Because
into
it's
that.
the Red Wings.
He was
Yeah.
in a horrible Sens team. He was in a horrible Buffalo team. You up his minutes. Right-handed shot.
He gets to go to a
25 years
horrible
old.
Detroit defense.
And now he's on a horrible Detroit Red
Oh
Wings
yes,
I'm halfway
Awesome.
kidding. I'm halfway kidding. I think he'll make the defense better if he's in the
I'm
second to third
I
pair.
hope he can like sneak in a second pair role. Maybe I don't know. I'm just saying that because like he's young.
team. Yeah, like I said, if you can increase his minutes and maybe he can moonlight as a second line D pair, that
Mhm.
bumps Ajo down. Well, we're up. I just think it's a really, really good signing. I really do. And he's cheap. If it doesn't work out, then you just bury him in the minors and go after someone else. You have the cap for it.
Something I
Agreed.
want to mention. I mean, so I feel like the defense is going to be better. Weird to say that. I feel like, like I said earlier, Sider is going to get better. You have Johansson, Edvinsson, they're going to be better. So I mean, that's 3 out of 6 defensemen, and then Sherratt, in my opinion, a little overhated.
Me too.
He'll be okay. Yeah, he'll be okay. And then,
Mhm.
Are we getting soft?
do you think he's dead?
I feel like
gonna
we're getting
say,
soft, and we're
I
just
think-
like,
no, I
Stroud's
mean,
not that bad.
I've thought he's been not that bad since after the first year. I don't think he was too bad.
He's been
I don't
slowly
think
getting
no.
better.
It was just
especially
Yeah.
with his
Petrie
offense, in my opinion.
Petrie and Sherratt pair. That was fucking
That was bad.
awful.
Oh god.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
now
here's
Peachy's
also
going to
what you
go get a
gotta
cut
think.
with Florida.
Yeah, he's
Here's also
gonna
what you gotta think.
be like
Here's what you gotta think
on
with
his
this.
OEL arc.
Sherratt was with Montreal, then traded to Florida, and then signed by Detroit. He had barely any time to adapt to his Florida and Detroit's systems. So I think once he got accustomed to being in Detroit, he fit the system with us. And if I hate the contract. I don't hate the player. I really don't. But even at that, the contract at this point isn't too bad because the cap is going up tremendously. So even at that, the contract isn't terrible. But between those three, Petrie, Hall, and Sherratt, I think Justin Hall's in a category by himself. Petrie, slowly as the year ended, he wasn't terrible. And I feel like Sherratt wasn't bad either. I think you put Sherratt in that third pair role, totally fine with me. But the final free agent signing, Mason Appleton, 2 years at $2.9 million. I'm getting a lot of mixed bag emotions from this deal. Don't hate it. He makes the bottom six
don't
better.
hate it
I mean, you look at our bottom six now. You got, I don't know how the lines would look, but you got a guy like, you got Rasmussen, you got Comfer, Soderblom, Appleton, and I think you throw JVR on that second or the bottom six, correct? Because who else is on there?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hear some of your guys' signings or thoughts on the signings. Dayton had to leave, so unfortunately it is us four now.
Oh god.
Okay, there we go. Hunter's back.
Damn it.
Okay, guys, what's your
You
thoughts
might
on
wanna-
the JVR, Jacob Bernard-Docker, and the Mason Appleton signing?
I'll just go first quickly. Kind of once again, I need to look into JBD more. I know some Sens fans are once again kind of glazing him a little bit, but a young defenseman. I think this is a solid pickup. And with Mason Appleton, I was sometimes frustrated with him in the playoffs. Like I remember, I think it was Game 7 against the Blues and Game 6. I was a little bit frustrated because he wouldn't kind of finish some of his shots.
That goal against or tried to score against Dallas and not.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wait,
That's
Zach.
coming back to me.
Zach, in what games?
Oh
In
my
what games?
Wow, nice try. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe I don't know where Appleton was in the lineup. I'm assuming he was kind of
He's probably a
Third
third
line.
line.
maybe more up. Yeah, and he's gonna be a little bit more sheltered on this team. But I mean, I think this is once again a solid pickup. It's fine in my opinion. We're still rounding out that bottom six, and also coming back to JVR. Like I know, speaking of how we wanted John Gibson for a while, I felt like we wanted JVR for a while because
Agreed.
I
He was
remember
connected to
that
us for
trade.
like 2 years.
Yeah, that trade deadline, it didn't go through, and I thought we would sign him eventually, but we didn't. And I think he had like 19 goals last year in Columbus, and
16 goals.
16.
16 goals, 20 assists for 36
Damn.
points.
That's solid.
But he seems
yeah.
to do that like every year. So
Go
He also
figure the
kinda-
1 year.
He was good against us too, so I mean,
But
I hope that translates for us.
I
Creates
did
goals
notice
for
though.
us.
I did notice something though, and let me pull the stats up. Hold on, I'm just.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I think there was 2 seasons where he scored over 25 goals, and on those seasons where he scored, like his top production season, he had 30 goals, actually, okay, the one time in Toronto where he had 56 points, he was a minus 33.
What year was that?
That
That'd
was
be-
14-15.
Okay,
Yeah.
well that's
Oh, that was
yeah.
like-
That was
He did
like one
this-
of the tank years.
And he did that in Philadelphia in 21-22. He was a -33 with 24 goals. So,
Actually, do you have like a
Top stats.
19 goal season with Boston? Is that what I'm thinking about?
I swore he had,
he had
some sort of
11 goals, 27 assists, 38 points,
Not bad.
71
oh,
games.
wow, yeah,
Never
he's-
mind, yeah, but still, I thought it was really good on Boston, but
Av-
once
he was.
again,
averaging 13 minutes a night, though.
oh,
So-
okay.
that's still
There's
solid.
there's definitely a lot here, I would like to say. Sorry, Keegan, what were you saying?
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, I love the Jacob Bernard Docker signing, like young defenseman, right-handed shot. We've been looking for that, and I kind of said it in one of the videos I made about free agency. I like it. Maybe he might be that third pair guy, but if it doesn't work out, you can easily bury him in Grand Rapids. It's not too big of a contract. And then, in regards to Mason Appleton, like, I was kind of confused with the signing for a bit, but I don't hate it because you're not going to get any really offensive production. You're really hoping that works out like that. But you're getting him more for his defense. You're getting him more for being able to play on the penalty kill, which obviously they're addressing their needs. And then obviously you're really hoping that in our own zone that he plays, being able to block pucks, being able to, do whatever it takes to get the puck out of our zone. And penalty kill, obviously same thing, block shots. Defensively, he's really good. Offensively, doesn't produce much. I think maybe his numbers were inflated a little bit because he played with an Adam Lowry in Winnipeg, but I think it's a good signing. I know a lot of Winnipeg fans don't really like him, and they're free from his shackles and this, that, and whatever, but I can't hate on him. I think it's a good signing, and Michigan State guy too, so.
I wouldn't even say
think
like Winnipeg Jets fans hated him. I just think it was the fact where they first got rid of him in the Seattle expansion draft, and they knew what they were getting when they traded him back. And I think they were more upset to the fact where what Winnipeg gave up. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was a second or a third. I feel like they're just upset in the fact that they could have gotten more for like someone else instead of a guy they already knew. I don't know. There's just something telling me like he's not. I feel like he's a good two-way guy. I think Dayton mentioned it pretty damn good in the group chat. He's a much better Tyler Mott. Like he can play the PK very well, and he'll be able to put up some points. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, sorry, Hunter, you can say what you're gonna say.
So from what I've seen about him so far, is he just seems he's a very high energy guy. He uses his body. He probably doesn't have necessarily the scoring touch we're looking for, and usually the play does kind of fizzle out on the stick. I think that has happened a couple times during the playoffs, especially against the Blues. But I think he's a good, solid two-way player, especially on the PK, which we sorely need.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I think a line with Appleton, Kopp,
Oh my God.
and Soderblom.
Ooh.
Soderblom feeding him the puck and him just blunderbusting shots off at the net. I think that might have something there, honestly.
Might not be bad.
Or Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk.
And we got
Van
the apple
Riemsdyk
cider
can bring the
combo.
offense.
Stop,
Yeah.
Keegan. Keegan, no. Don't start with this.
What did he do?
He said apple cider.
Oh,
Oh.
hey, if that happens for a goal, we have to say that.
We will.
I guess.
The
Okay.
memes will be immaculate.
It's got to be
I
a
wrote-
cider assist, though.
All right, so for the lineup this year, we have, and this is from Daily Faceoff, so this is bound to change because the Red Wings could go out and sign or trade for literally anyone. They have JVR, Larkin, and Raymond on the first line, Casper Kane on the second, Elmer Soderblom, JT Comfer, Bergeron on the third, and then Rasmussen, Kopp, Appleton on the fourth. And then for defense, you could really do anything after Ed and Sider, but for what I put down Aljo, Aljo and Gus on the second line or second pair, and then Sherratt and JVD on the third pair. And I'm not gonna lie, fellas. I mean, outside of maybe JVR on that top line, I really don't think there's anything terrible about this lineup. I love the bottom six now. I feel like especially if you get a top six winger to put on either the second or first line. I mean, like the bottom six between Elmer, Comfer, Bergeron, Kopp, Appleton, and JVR, and then if you throw a Mazer or a Danielson up once in a while, I mean, I really like that lineup. The defense, again, same situation, but I feel like it's a thing with McClellan, too. Like, once McClellan came in, Aljo showed up. Gustafson played better. You don't know what you're going to get with Jacob Bernard-Docker. Sherratt is still playing well, in our opinion. So, in my opinion, I think it's definitely a step up and a leg up from last year. We're just going to have to wait and see if it's actually, the truth. So, and as we'll get into this soon too, Yzerman's not done. We all know it. He will make a move. It's just a matter of when he'll make.
Well,
a move.
It's even with like free agency. There's a lot of arguing back and forth about like why didn't Yzerman pick up this guy or this guy or this. It's kind of hard to pick someone up when literally all the players that you were going after were taken the day before the draft. So, I mean,
and again,
keep going.
We'll get into like all the reasons behind why we couldn't get certain players here in a sec. But just getting back to like the lineup, fellas, like what are your guys' thoughts on the lineup now? Like,
don't hate it, but I don't love it. Is it better than what it was last season? Yeah, but it's like I'd say 10%
by how
better.
much?
Like very, very marginally better.
You need that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
You need that. You need that extra forward or defenseman to really have a leg up on.
I would kind of like more wingers because that's kind of definitely what we need, more depth on wing.
Outscore our
that's
problems.
what we kind of stress. Yes.
That's
what I'm thinking.
In the sense, like I said earlier.
I want 6 to 5 games every game.
Throw it back to that one game against the Leafs.
That was my favorite game. That was so fun to watch.
Yeah. I was watching that game over the
Good
Stadium
Lord, that
Series.
game was so fun.
That's how wacky it was.
You're insane, Zach. I will say Hunter made a very good point. Like, I mean, the roster on paper looks better, but how much is it better? I think, like we said, I think you go after a winger, and I mean that's not to rule out Yzerman doesn't make another trade for another defenseman because, I mean, you look at the picks and prospects we have in our system. Like, you can make that trade. It just has to be for the right one. But I think you should more bank on your defense getting better in the sense where you don't have to consistently have to be pressured to play better because of the goaltender that's in the back. But I think you rely on Edvinsson taking a step. I think you rely on Aljo taking a step. I think you have Gustafson adapting to his team. And in my opinion, Gustafson's shown his flashes on how good he is at the World Championship. I think he can be still a serviceable bottom pair defenseman guy. Sherratt is still at least halfway decent. I don't think he's bad by any sense. We'll see about Jacob Bernard-Docker, but I still love the pickup. I think he could at least be halfway decent for the Wings. I mean, the point is he's better than a Petrie or a Hall. So I think in that sense, I think you're okay. But like Hunter said, the team is like 10% better than the team from last year. I will say this. I feel better already about this team than I did last offseason when you only got Gustafsson, Mott, and then Tarasenko. Like I loved the Tarasenko signing at the time, but I love this JVR signing right now because of the contract and the player.
No, you're good.
Yeah, sorry, Hunter, what?
All right. Well, especially considering like all the money that these GMs are throwing out this draft, like Ken Holland.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, Cap's rising.
Ken Holland
yeah.
in his infinite wisdom giving Cody Ceci 4 times 4.5.
Well, remember he had Cody Ceci and Edmonton,
Yeah.
so he must really like him.
You gave up Gavrikov when Gavrikov got
And then he
7
traded
mil,
Spence.
and then you spend 8 mil on CC on.
I know.
Making sense too.
Mm.
But I will say, this offseason, just purely on not overpaying guys,
Yeah.
I'm happy with this offseason.
We didn't do it last offseason, but I'd say we got more value from the signings by not paying people because
Agreed. We didn't
Yeah.
overpay.
and
Like,
no
Yzerman-
offense. Sorry.
I was gonna say, Yzerman didn't overpay guys. He made sure like that they were within reason. He knew it was a weaker class. He knew what he was going after.
He learned from signing Kopp and Sherratt for big money and big term and decided not to do it, and I feel like we are for the better for it. We're not spending $6.5 million for, a bottom line or a third line of Dmitry Orlov and Albert Johansson or something like that, which is absurd.
Part of that is in the sense that San Jose had to hit the cap floor.
Well, yeah.
So I understand that sense of the contract,
Mm-hmm.
but
It's like the Killorn deal when
Yeah.
the Ducks did that
But then like
last
Dumoulin.
summer.
Brian Dumoulin, oh my God.
Not gonna lie, I would have
Not for
loved
that
him,
money.
but not for
I
that
would have
cap
too.
hit.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ken Holland
Jesus
just brutally
Christ.
just realizes how reminds us how stupid he is as a GM.
It's like, yes, this man won cups with us. I can see why it's past tense now.
You know who else won cups? All right. To wrap up this final episode, oh my God, I almost said final.
We got
episode.
more,
Holy
bud.
shit.
Don't worry.
Hockey nerd. We got way.
We got more in
coming
the
up.
tank.
Uh-huh.
This is only the
got-
beginning.
I got more in me.
Lock in.
I still got one more in me.
To wrap up the final section of episode 14, we're going to talk about the Yzerman Press
We
Conference.
forgot to talk
Oh,
about
no.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Yes.
So, guys,
Hunter Schefter.
we have a little story to tell us. So, Hunter, why don't you describe what happened? Thank you for reminding me, Keegan.
I'm at work, and a guy DMs me about what time was it? I think about like 1:50. It's just some random guy, and I'm not gonna give his name out or his relation to him within reason. Obviously, I promised him this when I talked to him. But a guy out of nowhere messages me and says Mason Appleton is a Red Wing. He signed the deal. He hasn't gone public yet. I'm not supposed to tell anyone. He's related to da-da-da-da-da in my family. And I'm like, what? It's like,
we were shitting bricks. We're like, what the hell?
so he doesn't know this. Unfortunately, I did kind of let it slip. I sent it, obviously, to the podcast group chat. And everyone in there, it's just like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. And then my side of the story with this is I knew about it.
This
tweeted
little hungry clout goblin.
Jesus Christ, Keegan.
I quote, watch the Red Wings sign some random bottom six forward today like Mason Appleton. 30 minutes later it goes public.
You're
Blows the
absolutely
fuck up.
ratioed on Twitter. It was insane.
Dude, I went to go check that tweet, and I'm like, how the hell did he get that much? But then I realized, I'm like, oh, yeah, this was all hidden information. This was a leak.
This was like an
That's
actual
the
leak
joke.
from a family member of Vincent Appleton.
This was a leak from a Detroit Red Wings meme page that arguably
Who
would
just
I
changed
know.
his name, too.
Jake Van Meemsdyke.
I even
Wouldn't
told
be
that to the guy
awesome.
too. I'm like, why is everyone so interconnected, and why does everyone insist on telling me? Why not go to Red Wings coverage or Wing Wheel Media, someone who's actually like I don't know relevant in this space? I'm
Ouch.
bar down
Ouch.
Detroit, bar down Detroit. Someone who's relevant in this space, not some fucking glub shitto that just posts pictures of people with the word balls and fucking it. If I had a dime, and this might lead into another segment, if I had a nickel for every time this happened, I'd have two. There might be one I didn't tell you guys about.
What was
Patrick
the
came to
first one?
Detroit.
You
The
motherfucker.
first time.
No, not the first time. This
You
year.
bitch.
So,
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
You
Oh.
bitch.
so I've
You
known.
motherfucker.
I
You
mean,
didn't
I
tell-
always knew.
all
I
that
had a gut
suspense for
feeling.
nothing.
So I can't go into details because I'm pretty. It's if it gets out, obviously his company's gonna know, and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck? Why'd you tell him?" X guy
You stupid bitch.
works for X company, and X guy told me
Oh.
that Patrick Kane had a possible consultation with his boss early in June.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, now I remember. I think
Yeah.
you said in the group chat. Yes. Oh,
I
I don't remember this. I don't remember this, Hunter. I need you to vague. I need you
We'll
to
have to
vaguely
cut this all
describe-
out. We'll have to cut this
Why?
all out.
Mm.
Are we actually?
Why?
I don't
No.
think we should. I don't think we should.
Yeah,
We're doing it
we
live.
are. So again, I don't know why they do this to me. I don't know why they put me in this position. I don't know why they give me this information and expect me to sit on it and not do anything. It's very odd. So yeah, there you go. Kane to Detroit, Appleton to
So,
Detroit.
with that being said, we have Elliot
I guess
Hunterman as an insider for the Red Wings. No.
Hunter Schefter.
it's so fucking weird, and I really don't know what to do with it.
Hunter Friedman.
It's the worst.
You should. That's what you should change your name to on Instagram now again.
I
Hunter
feel like
Friedman.
this is a very special occasion. I don't know if this is ever going to happen again. No, probably not.
Probably not.
But also, the guy did say he was at a wedding with Andrew Kopp too. So, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Jeez.
Okay.
All right, so that was a little funny story about Mason Appleton and Hunter turning into
I
an
guess.
insider. Let's wrap up this final segment of the Hockey in the 303 podcast talking about Yzerman's press conference. So Dayton sent it to the group chat, and we were all like, "Ah, shit, he's done." In a way, yes, but on the other hand, no. So I would say in free agency, I think he's done with that. I don't think he's going to make any signings for a couple more weeks, if he makes any at all. But like Dayton said, he released his presser, and there was a day where he signed Tarasenko, and then he traded for Alex DeBrincat. So he's for sure not done. The Wings still have $11 million in cap space. There's a move bound to happen, but like Keegan said, who and when is it going to happen? Yzerman did mention in the presser, and I think these are the most important points, that he tried to, I can't remember who just mentioned this earlier, he tried to get some big name free agents. I think it was Hunter who mentioned it. But either A, they were traded to another team, or B, they were signed before free agency even started. I think we can all elaborate on who those specific players were. Marner,
Marchand,
Ekblad,
Bennett,
Marchand.
Gavrikov.
It was probably gonna be hard to get those Florida guys, to be honest.
But here's
I
the
mean-
biggest thing. We couldn't even talk to Marner. Yzerman mentioned
Yeah.
that he tried to talk to Marner and just couldn't get a hold of his
No.
agent or him. So he probably just didn't want to. He just didn't want to play here. And you know what? Screw him for that. But
It sounded
but-
like him and his family were dead set on Vegas, I guess.
Yeah, he was huffing
Yeah,
the
I mean-
Vegas gas for a while.
Listening to the. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was reported even back from trade deadline and even beforehand that he
Yeah.
wanted to go to Vegas. So,
Mhm.
so yeah, that's that. But another thing, like we mentioned earlier, Yzerman quite literally came out to say like he's going to be actively looking for at least a top four defenseman and maybe even more. Dayton also mentioned it too. Like he's going to go on vacation right now. Yzerman's going to take a break. and then he's going to call back every team and let them know. And Yzerman even mentioned, like, this is the part that baffles me. Remember at the start of the rebuild where Yzerman was so keen on not telling any information, and I think he's to the point where he's kind of fed up. He literally mentioned that there are teams that have offers on the table that he's going to listen to. Like, just randomly out of the blue, he said that it never happens. Exactly. So just
do you
the
think
sense that
Larkin lighting a fire under his ass at the end of the season had anything to do with it, or do you think he's just like
no,
I think a
Probably.
little bit, or just missing the playoffs. I
that
don't know.
that Larkin calling him out, and then McClellan being the guy he is, 100%. I think
I
those
can
three factors.
guarantee you, like
would-
McClellan
that
sitting in the
too.
back there, like whispering in his ear, he's like, "You need a top 4 forward. There's no way, dude. you need something."
It's just
His
I just
teammate-
think the way McClellan is, I think it kind of lit a fire under Yzerman's ass to not be so like keen on keeping information to himself. Now, are there things that you have
Yeah.
to keep to yourself? Of course, but like I said, if this was 2021 Steve Yzerman, like he's not telling us, oh yeah, we're looking for a top 4 defenseman on the trade market, or yeah, teams have deals in place that they're willing to do with us. He would have kept his mouth shut with that. So just that's why I'm on the side, and I've always been on the side from this year and last year's free agency. Yzerman's not done. He's going to make this team better. It's just who is it and when will it be? And I think we might not even get that answer until August, or we might not get it until next week, Thursday, Saturday. Like, you know what I mean? Like it'll be random. But you have $11 million in cap space. That's without getting rid of a comp for Hull or Sherratt, which I believe 3 of those players, actually, I think all of those players are going to stay at this point, unfortunately. Hull's probably just going to be buried. But, I mean, you still have $11 million. And, I mean, for a player that you're going to try and acquire for the top 6 and your top 4, I think easily one player either makes $6 million and then another player makes $4 million. Or one player makes 7, the other makes 3. Like, you guys know what I'm saying. Like, it's not that hard to move money around. Again, I'm blown away on, like, 2025 Steve Yzerman versus 2021 Steve Yzerman and his answers. So just the fact that he confirms that he's not done has a huge sigh of relief for me. And not to say that any of the moves that he made this offseason were bad. It's just we know that there's another hole on the roster, and he literally said he's going to address
Robertson?
it. So I hope so. I can only hope.
Looking at this lineup now, I think I kind of want him more. Just that
I
wing
do.
depth once again.
Yeah, I agree.
It's gonna have to be for the right price. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think that, like, you look at the bottom 6, like, I'm in love with the bottom 6. Like, is it a Stanley Cup contender? Hell no. But is it at least a playoff, like, bottom 6? I personally would say so, between an Elmer, a Comfort, a Berger, and a Rass, a Kopp, and an Appleton. And
Lest we
JVR,
forget right now, they still have RFAs that are not signed out there, and I think Gabriel Velarde's one of them. Marco Rossi's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean,
Rossi wasn't even qualified either.
No, he was.
Yeah.
Oh, he was. I didn't.
Yeah. But another thing, good point to that, Hunter. Yzerman also did mention that he would be open to trading for those RFAs so that he can sign them themselves, and like he'd have to pay the price for them. So, again, I express this a lot. Like, I'm just glad he's out there saying this. Like, he's not done. It's such a breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm. And
what are your guys' thoughts?
Sorry, just quickly. I know. I think back in April, I was kind of on Yzerman a little bit. You know, it was briefly at the end of the season. I'm like, yeah, I really hope Yzerman makes this big splash because, or else I think he's gonna be on the hot seat. But in reality, once again, this was a very weak
free agent class.
unrestricted free agent class, and I mean, I think, you know, with Florida winning back-to-back cups, it was hard to get. I think it was hard to get those free agents, and you know, the Marner thing as well. So I think Yzerman being able to work the trade market, I think it's gonna be something to watch for in the future. Because you know, I think with some of these guys, I really wish we don't kind of overpay for, you know, some of these young guys. Maybe we have to, but I mean, I just really want to see, you know, competitive hockey again as well. And, you know, guys like Dylan Larkin and I think Raymond are definitely ready for that. But, and also, quickly, I I think just being a general manager is hard, and once again, that's something I really want to do someday. Work for an NHL front office and kind of making deals and building a team that and like a fan base or whatever to, have consecutive competitive seasons and bringing this atmosphere, this culture of winning or whatever. And
Just make me an assistant.
I truly believe now. I think, yeah, but yeah, I truly believe Yzerman is still building. He's still bringing it all together, and yeah, I mean, I really hope that or I'm more trust. I have more trust in Yzerman now, as he's gonna start listening to these deals like what he said, and he's kind of opened up. So right now I'm just interested in how it all goes.
Who and
for
when?
the season.
I think that's just perfectly how you put it. It's just who and when. When is it going to happen, and who is it going to be?
I said that first.
Mm-hmm. Keegan, what are your thoughts?
And we're talking about the free agents, right? Or just like
No, the press conference.
Oh, mixed reviews, I guess, because I understand like he's done making moves in free agency. I kind of figured that after Appleton. I got more positive vibes in the sense of maybe he's looking for that top 4 defenseman, the top 6 winger. Prospect wise, it's very iffy. He didn't really give any insight into that. It's kind of like, hey, maybe a guy like, I know he mentioned this too, but a guy like Wallander and a guy like Boehm might try and push for the lineup this year. Like they're on the cusp of something, so that's a good sign in general that like, hey, we're getting some help on defense, I guess, with our younger guys. But like a guy like a Danielson or Pellica, he just gave no insight to. Just like, hey, like we'll see, pretty much. Which it sucks because you want to see this team get better with the youth. So, in general, that sucked. But I think him being pretty much blunt about what he's doing is looking for that top 6 forward and that top 4 defenseman. They'll recircle and something might happen. So I'm definitely excited because if you get a trade and you get like a top 4 defenseman or a top 6 winger, this team instantly gets pushed to competing.
Agreed.
Mm.
You guys have any more thoughts?
That's about it.
All right. Well, guys, that'll wrap up episode 14 of the Hockey in the 3-on-3 podcast. A pretty big episode for Red Wings news regarding the NHL draft, free agency, and the trades going on. Safe to say, fellas, it's going to be a boring offseason. We're going to find content here and there, but let's hope Yzerman makes it an interesting one for us and makes it hopefully 1 and 2 trades that make this team better so we can dive deep into the perspective on that. And we'll go from there. We'll always find content to do, so that won't be a problem for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, that'll do it for episode 14. I'm one of your hosts, Brian Donnelly, joined by Zach, Hunter, and then Dayton was in here earlier. Props to Dayton for getting this episode out with us and getting in at least a good 40 minutes with us. So props to him and everything he does. But yeah, we will see you guys in the next episode. And then, guys, can you do me a quick favor?
What's up?
Can you guys grab the camera for me, please? For a Lamar Jackson edit? All right, guys. We'll see you in the next episode of the Hockey in the 3-on-3 podcast. And above all, guys,
that was
let's
super
go Wings.
aggressive.